Today I'm going to be showing you how to do a drain down to a caravan using a compressor on a standard water heater, a combination boiler and a condenser boiler. The tools that we'll be using today is the compressor, the Alfie 11, the antifreeze, the pump to put in the Alfie 11, a measuring jug for measuring the antifreeze, a refractometer, and the tools that will be required to take out the grubs in the water heater. Step 1 will be disconnecting the water from the caravan and connecting the compressor hose. Don't forget to turn the water off before you. We're ready to turn the compressor on. Step 2, before we drain any of this taps down, you must always remember to turn the boilers off. So when you're draining down the hot water, you're not blowing through the gas on the boiler. We've got the compressor connected. You must make sure that it's more than 75 psi, in our case it's 115 psi. Then I'm going to show you how to drain the water out the sinks, on hot and cold, throughout the whole of the van, making sure that there's no ensuite in the van. If there is, obviously we're going to do the same procedure throughout the whole of the sinks. Right, so I'm going to go ahead with the first tap, and I'm using the bowl to shield the sink because it gives a good kickback of water, so I'm going to use that so it doesn't splash everywhere. And then the same again with the hot. Follow the same procedure on all sinks. Top tip is to make sure that you've got blue roll at hand, because even though you use the bowl you still get splashes on the work surface and that, so you know, just give it a wipe down after you finish the drain now. Now I'm going to be showing you how to drain down the thermostatic mixer shower. We must make sure that we get this right because they're a very costly part, so it's important that we get this right. First off, I'm going to remove the hose from the shower, hold it down to the tray, then I'm going to turn it onto the cold position, then round to the hot position and drain off the shower. That's the cold, now turn it to the hot position. Once you've removed the shower hose, just give it another quick blast just to make sure there's no water left in there. Turn it around onto the cold position and it's empty. We'll be winterising the toilet. With this we'll be using the antifreeze. This product is as an irritant, so you want to be using the appropriate PPE, which will be PVC gloves and a pair of protective glasses. In this one, you use 25% to the volume of water that you're diluting. In our case, I estimate about 1 litre for the actual pan and 1 litre for the cistern. So I'll be using 250 millilitres for the pan and 250 millilitres to the cistern. You've got to make sure that the dilution is correct, because if it's too weak you've got a risk of it freezing up and it'll crack your pan and your cistern, which will cost you, you know, a considerable amount of money. And if it's over diluted, if you put too much solution in, then obviously it's costing you because you're using too much product. Right, now I'm going to be flushing the toilet, and I'm going to be putting in the antifreeze, which, like I said, is 250 to the toilet, 250 to the cistern. Make sure that you flush the angle a couple of times. Make sure all the water's out of the cistern. Then, make sure you've got your glasses on and your gloves to apply antifreeze to the toilet. Same procedure. I'm going to fill this up to 250 ml and put it into the cistern. The jug that we're using, you must make sure that it's specifically for this job alone, and you're not using something out of a caravan that's part of the inventory. Also in this stage we're going to be adding antifreeze to the plug holes, just to make sure that the traps under the sink don't burst, because they hold a little bit of water. We'll only be adding about 50 mils to this, and also not forgetting the shower as well. And the final stage, we'll be removing a little grub screw underneath the diaphragm on the water heater. You can either use a screwdriver or a little adjustable. Top tip, when you remove your little grub screw, stick it in a little money bag, apply a bit of sticky tape to it, and stick it on the inside of the door. Then when you come to reconnect your start of the season, it's there ready for you. Step 5. I've come back to the kitchen sink. This is the first one that we started on, just to make sure that there's no water left in the system. I'm going to run this, and then I'm going to be going out, turning off the compressor, coming back in and opening all the taps on all the taps in the van and on the shower itself. And that's empty. I'm now going to be showing you the procedure for winterising a combination boiler caravan. Steps 1 to 4 remain the same as the previous video. The only difference is the boiler. Now I'm going to be showing you the equipment that I'm using winterising a caravan with a combination boiler. First of all, we'll be using a refractometer, which measures the temperature of the antifreeze levels. Then we're going to be using Fernox Alpha 11, which is the antifreeze that we're putting into the central heating system. And I'll be putting that in with a pump which you'd get from any garden centre, but I've adapted this one. I've put a ball valve so you can turn it on and off, and it's just got a flexi hose that connects straight to your central heating pipe. Now I'm going to be showing you how to remove water from a radiator so we can test it on a refractometer. Top tip is to get a bit of blue roll, put it around the base of the radiator onto the carpet, and if there's any spillages, your blue roll just catches the excess water. Now I'm going to show you how to use a refractometer. You should have one of these on your park. If not, one of the nominated dealers that we use with, such as Screwfix or Plumb Centre, you'll get one from there. What I'm going to do is use this little pipette that you get with it. Open the refractometer, make sure any residue is removed, make sure it's dry. A bit of your water you got out of your radiator, a little drop. This is the reading through the refractometer. We're using the middle scale, and where the blue meets the white, that is where it's actually at. So we're looking at about -7, -8. We want that to reach up to -20 to be at right temperature. Right, this needs 3 litres. The Caravan that we've just tested on the refractometer reads just above 5. So in this case we'll be putting 3 litres of antifreeze in it. And for that reason, each litre protects your Caravan an extra 5 degrees. So when we're finished, it should be -20 degrees. Now ready to remove the flexi hose, which you use to top up the water system on the central heating. I'm going to remove this. Another top tip: get a bit of your blue roll and stick it in the floor of the boiler cupboard to catch any water. And when the connectors pump to the valve, pump your pump to the required pressure. Open this valve and it'll top the system up with Alpha 11. Another top tip would be to go to your furthest radiator away from your boiler, open the bleed valve up while you're topping this up, and it'll speed up the topping procedure. So leave it on, go to your radiator, turn your radiator on, and it'll speed up the pumping in. Now 3 litres of Fernox has been added to the system. We're going to be disconnecting the flexi hose. Make sure that you turn off the valve because there's still pressure in the bottle, and then we'll just remove. And then just put your hose back on, your top up hose from your water system. Also, your pressure valve, you know, the water pressure runs best at 1.5 to 2 bar. So if it runs over that and it runs up to 3 bar, your boiler probably won't work. So when you've topped it right up with your Fernox, go back to your radiator, release a bit of water off and drop it back to 1.5, in between 1.5 and 2, and that'll be fine. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put the central heating on to maximum. This enables it to circulate through the system. We're going to leave this for about 20 minutes. If you've got any more drain downs to do in the meantime, you can move on to another drain down, do another drain down, then pop back to this, do another test on it with your refractometer. If it is -20, then fine. If you might get back and it might need an extra half extra litre, add that, come back again after another 20 minutes, test it again until you've got the correct temperature. If it's an owner's Caravan that you're testing for Fernox, just make sure that you document the right amount of Fernox you're using on a job sheet, and then when you've finished, make sure you've turned the boiler off. So now I'm going to show you how to deal with a condenser boiler. On a condenser boiler we have to release water out of the condenser trap, and I'll show you how to do this later. If an owner is only using their Caravan at weekends through the winter, they won't have to carry out this procedure. They just leave the boiler on frost setting and the boiler will be fine. If the Caravan is having a full drain down, then this procedure has to be done. you have to release the water out of the condenser trap. And also some of the fleet caravans that we've got have got these boilers in, so you must carry this procedure out. Right, so we're ready to carry out removing the condenser trap. For this you must make sure that the boiler is turned off and also the gas supply, and you must wear a pair of protective gloves and eye protection because the water can be acidic. This is the condenser trap that we're looking for. Right, so I'm going to use a bit of blue roll just to catch any excess water. Just turn the trap anti-clockwise. And remove it. Empty the water out and then put it back in. Right, so when you want to reconnect the boiler, you must make sure to refill the condenser trap with water. If you're not sure how much water you've got to use in the particular boiler, you will have instructions for that boiler with the Caravan. So, you know, some of the boilers may be a little bit different, just follow the instructions.